I am very excited to be here and excited to take it away, as you said. It's a great day. There was a solar eclipse today, and we had a lot of things going on this week. Hopefully no one was too affected by the earthquake or anything else. Um, Today we're going to talk about some ways to consider your career and how to transform your career into your calling, and connect your career to your calling. It's going to be interactive, so I'm going to be like that teacher that some of you may not have been super fond of in high school, who called on you a lot and voluntold some people. Um, Part of that is because I want you to get the most out of this presentation. And part of getting the most out of this presentation is me making sure that you have a chance to participate and engage with the content. So I will ask you questions. I will comment in chat. I will read your chats if you can't unmute. And I am really excited to get a chance to meet all of you today, interact with you, and hopefully help you move forward with your careers. So welcome. As you can see on the screen, hopefully. Can everyone see the screen? Thumbs up, yes. Thumbs up. Okay, very good. Excellent. My name is Laura Hand. I am the Assistant Director of Career Services at Hostels Community College of CUNY. Oh, thank you. I see someone commented yes in chat as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That was Charmaine. I'm glad that you're here, Charmaine. So today we're going to be talking about career to calling, leveraging passion projects for career and professional development. You'll see me looking up at times throughout this presentation. That's because I like to keep your faces here, and I have the presentation up here. So it's not that I'm not paying attention, it's that in case your camera comes on, I want to be able to see your face and acknowledge your presence. I also tend to talk fast when I'm enthusiastic about something. So if you hear me start talking fast and you miss something that I say, please let me know to slow down. You are always welcome to ask me to slow down, to ask me questions, or to comment at any time. This presentation is about you, and you are what's important here. So I want to make sure that you are put first throughout this presentation. Now, we're going to move to the next slide and talk briefly about the objectives. Now, you have a longer version of the objectives, but to boil them down to the basics, we want to understand the importance of aligning your career path with your personal passions, right? Of being happy with what you're doing and being able to align what makes you happy with what you do, as well as learn how to integrate those personal projects into your professional narrative. We'll talk about some specific ways to apply those. A lot of this will be really technical, but when I'm going through something really technical, I will try to make sure that I explain it thoroughly. And again, you can ask questions in chat. I'll be here for you throughout. So we're going to talk a little bit about mastering LinkedIn, strategic networking, crafting a compelling resume, leveraging LinkedIn for growth, the elevator pitch and interview skills, and we're going to do some hands-on activities. I know that we started a little bit later due to technical difficulties, but we'll try to get in as much as we have time for while respecting your time, because your time is important. So you can see on this slide here that we start with an initial definition of career versus calling, but I want to pause for a second. Does anyone here have their own idea of what a career is to them? You can comment in chat, raise your hand. I think we figured out the unmuting option. Does anyone have an idea of what a career or a calling is to them?
I think to me, a career is like anything you've dedicated a good amount of time to. Like you put in like your heart and soul in succeeding and growing there. Like I started in retail and no one takes retail jobs seriously. But this is where I wanted to succeed. I saw the opportunity. I, went from like a stock position to like becoming a store manager. It took a lot of time, but I knew like this was, this was it. This is where I could succeed. And I always felt that that was my career, my first career at least.
Mhm. I am very happy to hear that. I am very happy to hear that you found that spot that was something that you said spoke to your soul, right? And it's really interesting that you brought that up because I titled this slide Career versus Calling on Purpose because people think of it a lot of times as career versus calling. Career versus calling. And that is where the issue is because, like what you just said, when you are at SPS, when you are pursuing professional development, we want it to be calling as a part of your career. So, what is a calling? Well, people have a lot of different definitions. Charmaine gave a definition of career in chat that says career is something you work toward, and even the tough days still feel rewarding because it's your passion. I love that. I love that. That is the goal, right? Is to integrate career and calling, to bring passion into what you're doing in your career, and to take projects that you might do in your spare time, those little passions, the things that you do that bring you joy, and figure out how those fit into the narrative of your career, as well as how they might push you towards certain things that you might not expect. Like Nazreen, correct? Yes. You mentioned that you didn't see retail as something that most people thought of as a calling. And yet for you, that's what that is. And that's what that was that B2C sales. Does everyone know what B2C means? It's okay. It's okay if you don't. I'm keeping an eye on chat.
You can
Okay.
drop in your reactions too, like a thumbs up or a snap, a clap.
Okay, I see two no's in chat. Okay, so in business, there are different kinds of sales. There's business to consumer sales, right? When you're selling directly to a consumer. And then there are business to business, B2B sales, when you are selling directly to another business. So that's something more like if you work at a large company and you produce a product and you're going to sell it to another company who's going to sell it. That's B2B. If you work at Victoria's Secret and you sell goods directly to a consumer, that's B2C. I actually know one of the top 20 Victoria's Secret salespeople in the world, and she loves her job. She's really, really good at it. So hopefully that starts to explain that acronym to you. Now, you're going to come across a lot of acronyms. And what you're going to encounter, especially in your career, is that sometimes there will be more than one acronym with the same letters. One that has always driven me crazy is BLS. Does anyone know what BLS stands for? I saw one no. Saw one no. Okay. I saw a no in chat. Okay. Ooh, I see a yes in chat. Okay. Alexandra, what does it mean to you? What does BLS mean to you? Oh, oh, ESL is what you were thinking, English as a second language. Okay. So BLS, and I'll put that in chat because I am saying it out loud, and sometimes the captions don't quite capture when you spell things out loud. So BLS, although Alexandra, good point. ESL also has multiple meanings. BLS. All right. So I'll give people a minute to respond in chat. Okay, I see educational leadership solution was another guess. Okay. So you're getting close. It's the B that I think is not coming through in the captions. That happens a lot. So BLS, ooh, Black and Latin Studies. Oh, awesome, Diana. Yes, I have seen it stand for that before. Yes, that is one of the things that it can stand for. Yes. So BLS can stand for multiple things. Black and Latin Studies. When you're in college, you may hear that quite a bit. When you are starting your career, you're also, or expanding your career, you're also going to hear it for this thing called the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The Bureau of Labor Statistics is this pretty significant government group that gathers a lot of data. And they give us information like the education pays chart, which some of you may have seen, some of you may not have seen. But basically, it shows how much you are doing for yourself right now by pursuing your education. It shows how education corresponds to increased pay and decreased unemployment rates. Oh yes, beautiful. Thank you for putting that in chat. And it shows a lot of information. But people who are pursuing their careers sometimes have challenges because acronyms like that could also stand for things like basic life support. Anyone in the medical or educational fields are maybe required to be certified in basic life support. So there are challenges sometimes with things like acronyms and things with where there are collisions in fields and collisions in definitions. That's where we see the same challenge with career versus calling, where we'll often see people think of a calling as something separate from their career. Or calling, sometimes they'll think of, say, they love art. Does anyone here like art? Anyone here like art? To consume it, I see from Kay. Oh, interesting. And Diana said yes. Yes, Diana likes art. Okay, good. Oh, that's lovely to hear. So, those of you who like art, you may have heard at some point that art maybe pays differently. Or you may have heard people say, okay, but what about what you're going to get paid for? There are things like that where there are collisions between people's idea of what a career is and people's idea of what a calling is, right? What makes them happy? What is their passion? And what, as I've heard before, sparks joy. So one of the important things to recognize, and that if you walk away with anything today, one of the important things that I hope you walk away with is remembering that there is a career for every calling. And one of the things that we're doing today is recognizing how to use the tools in your career and your professional development to make sure that your calling is a part of your career. Diana, you have your hand raised?
Yes, I in my last job enjoyed creating colorful flyers and booklets and things to work with, but I don't know enough about computers, but I would love to create flyers and stuff like that, but I know that that requires a lot of technical knowledge, and I don't have an interest in all of that technical stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Diana, that was a beautiful point, and that was a great transition. Thank you for bringing it up. So, in one of your jobs, you worked on flyers, marketing, and branding design. We're going to talk about branding, by the way, personal branding. Now, flyers, marketing, branding. If you are interested in art and you're interested in maybe having some involvement in flyers, marketing, and branding, when you are shaping your resume and your LinkedIn, there may have been a million things that you did at your other job, right? At your old job. Has anyone here had a job where you have a lot of tasks? Yes. Yes. Ooh, I think that was the fastest set of responses that we've gotten so far. Yes. Yeah. I see a lot of people who've had jobs where they've had a lot of tasks. Alexandra raised her hand too. I saw that. I think it was just to say that she's been at a job with a lot of tasks. Yes, sometimes you're at a job with a whole lot of tasks, and the temptation is to go on your resume and put every single thing that you did because you want to be recognized for every single thing that you did. And to be fair, I wish you were recognized for every single thing that you did. The type of jobs where you're doing everything, there's a good chance you didn't get recognized for every single thing that you did. But we are not writing the resume for the job that we had and to have that job again. We are not writing a resume to have the job that we already had. We are writing a resume and we are writing a LinkedIn for the job that we are going to have and for the job that we want. So, Diana, if that was something you enjoyed, that's what we are putting on your resume. That's what we are putting on your LinkedIn, is that was something you did. And what we're doing in the meantime is we are finding professional development resources that start to give you some skills and things like Canva that are a little more straightforward, not as technically demanding as maybe Adobe Illustrator, and allow you to do some digital design and build and make promotional materials. That's what we want to do. I recognize all of you who put in chat that you've done a lot. And I recognize that there's a reason that you're here. And today, the goal is that we take a moment to recognize that, and then we take a moment to focus on who you're going to become from here. So you're going to see on this page some things that employers are seeking. I am going to go to the next page that has a list of these things and has text of that clarifies it just a little bit. These are from NACE. If no one is familiar with NACE, Nasreen's going to put that in chat, NACE. That's the National Association of Colleges and Employers. So they do a bunch of research to figure out, hey, what are employers looking for? And one of the things that employers look for is career and self-development, right? So when you develop yourself, you are actually making yourself more employable, not just by obtaining those skills, but purely by being someone who takes the time to do that. By being the type of person who says, yes, I recognize the places where I want to grow or need to grow. Right, Diana? By saying, I recognize that maybe I don't have all the technical skills. Maybe I don't need every technical skill. Maybe, Diana, you aren't building a JavaScript website, and that's okay, right? I don't expect you to start coding in HTML, okay? You're good. You're doing great, just the way you are. What would help is identifying the pathways that align with your actual goals. And that could be the things like Canva, that could be going to workshops like this and seeing, okay, what tools are there that can help me? And if you want to connect after this, by the way, at the end of this, you're going to get information about your career services, as well as I will share my email in chat for anyone who would like to connect and get some feedback on where they're going in their pathways. Though I do strongly recommend connecting with career services. I'm a big fan, might just be biased because I work in career services and get to see the results every day. So you can see on here that employers recognize and appreciate career and self-development. There are a couple of other key things here that I just want you to get a glimpse of, and these are what employers look for. Something remarkable about these is that these are all generally transferable skills. These are often also incidental skills. Does anyone know what an incidental skill is? Or want to give it a guess?
It
Okay.
sounds like something you learn on accident or like you have to learn it without like needing to.
That was actually a beautiful guess. That was an excellent guess. Thank you. So incidental knowledge acquisition is something that those of you who have any interest in education may learn about, and it just means things that you pick up along the way. Maybe that you aren't intending to pick up, or that you don't think about picking up, but that you learn anyways. So incidental knowledge, a lot of these things are incidental knowledge. Communication is often acquired incidentally, right? At those jobs where you had a lot of different tasks. Did anyone have to send an email or talk to somebody or figure out what was going on every day? Alexandra said every day. Yes. Yes. Diana said yes as well. A lot of times we end up in situations where we have to communicate as part of work. And maybe our end goal isn't the communication itself. It's achieving something through means of that communication. But by that very practice, we are making ourselves better at it. So a lot of these things are things that we do in our everyday life. Even my nephew, when he is playing games with his friends, he picks up communication skills. He picks up teamwork skills. He picks up a lot of these skills completely incidentally, not realizing he's doing it. So these are things that I want you to save, keep in your mind, right? Because these are things that you're going to want to start recognizing in your passion projects. Because these are the start to the link between taking your passion projects into your resumes and your LinkedIns and stating them so that others can see your strengths and how they connect. Just like hopefully you will connect with me and the others in this chat on LinkedIn later. So these are the NACE career readiness competencies. Before I move on to the next slide, does anyone have a question about any of the NACE career readiness competencies? Okay. If you come up with a question later, you are always welcome to add that in chat. I love questions. It's gotten to the point where people at work start to laugh when they start to hear me say I love because they know what's coming next. I love questions and I'm always happy to hear them. I learn from questions as much as you do, and your peers who maybe didn't think to ask a particular question may learn as well. All right. So I'm going to go to the next slide, which is our first slide on strategic networking. Does anyone have an idea what NACE competency this might connect to? Networking. Want to give it a guess? I can go back to the NACE competencies slide too, if that would be helpful. Networking. Ooh, communication. Yes, excellent. Excellent. Communication. Okay, yes, the socializing has to do with the communication. Yes, very good. Very good. Yes. So, networking can develop your communication skills, and then specific parts of networking may develop other skills as well, like teamwork, collaboration, your digital skills. Networking can be incredibly helpful. Today, we're going to talk about some of the different elements of this. You're going to see the first one, which is written as a sentence because we are going to be doing this today, hopefully, is taking advantage of social media. We are going to be talking about how to take advantage of social media. I'm going to focus on LinkedIn, but that doesn't mean that's where you stop. Social media is an opportunity for you. It is a place where you can communicate, where you can build friendships, where you can network. And I hope that you get the chance to make the most of it. I hope for you that you are able to make the most of those connections over social media, the connections that you get at events like this, and the connections that you make in person on campus or in other forums. So we'll talk a little bit about what that means, taking advantage of social media. Also attending the right events. Nazreen, actually, because you've talked a little bit about what your calling is, right? What do you think is the right event for you?
The right event. I mean, I think it would have to, if I had to like just like like it would be something around like right now I'm in a completely different field. I'm in marketing now instead of retail. So I think like just in retrospect, it would have to initially be like something around DEI, like make sure like I'm a woman of color, like it is focused around that and promoting like growth, professionalism, how do you level up in this professional world where everyone's like either has a bachelor's already or they're finishing their master's or they have like, 5 or, 8 more years of experience than you. So it would have to be something that, focuses on that.
Mhm. Oh, you brought up some really, really great points there. So you said leveling up in a world where everyone has 5 or 8 more years of experience than you. So something that you should know, first of all. I did research and was part of a couple of different groups, and I did attend some events that were of interest to me. And one of those was the Dell Women's Entrepreneurship event, at which they were announcing the results and findings of their research. And one of their findings was that one of the reasons why women do not tend to get promotions or tend not to get the jobs is that they don't apply for certain jobs. Is that they will not always apply for the jobs that they may be underqualified for or may see themselves as underqualified for. Unlike when you're applying to colleges, right? And you've got those reach schools that you apply for and you're like, this is my dream school. I know I might not be an exact match for it. I know they say that they take SAT scores of 2,400 and I don't have that, but you know what? I'm going to go for it because I want this. Where did that person go? When you are at this, you are at this point, right? Where did that person go who reaches? And that's what you want to be doing, is reaching. Esther, I see you have a question.
Yes, you kind of hit the nail on the head with this because I've been struggling with this because there are lots of jobs I could apply for and I doubt myself. I know I fit, like I have the educational qualifications,
Mhm.
but it's like I kind of say, well, I can't do everything that's on that. They have so much responsibilities on there that I don't think I can meet those.
Mhm.
I think I'm already putting an obstacle in the path before I even start the process, but it is very intimidating for me because I try, I want it, I know I can do it, and I look at it and I know I can do this, but yet still I never apply for the job. So what would you suggest that what would be your advice? The next time I see this job that I really want, and that's what I really want. What would you advise? What would be your advice?
So the number one reason, do you know the number one, does anyone know the number one reason why someone doesn't get the job? Nazmi?
They didn't apply for it.
Yes, they don't apply. Yes. It's
Mm.
the number one reason why someone doesn't get the job. So the absolute worst that can happen is that they reject you without interviewing you. The next worst thing, right, is that they interview you and then they reject you, right? What you do then is you build up your interview skills. That's good for you. And you meet people, you network. That's excellent for you. You now know someone at the company where they have the types of jobs that are your dream jobs. So then next time when you go to apply, you can make yourself a better candidate. You can also ask for feedback. Has anyone here ever had an interview that you maybe didn't succeed at and then asked for feedback? I see a yes and I see some no's. Okay, I see a yes. Good, good. I see some yeses, some no's. First, just so that you know, in federal positions, and in state funded positions, you can exercise a right to information in order to obtain feedback, as a side note. Same thing with grants, and anytime that you're applying for those, you do have a right to information. It's different for private positions. But keeping that in mind, right? Feedback can help you grow. Now, one thing that you brought up earlier was that 5 to 8 year gap. Now, here we see identifying potential mentors and leaders was on this list, right? How do you jump the gap besides applying, right? How do you jump the gap? Get a mentor. And you can get a mentor by those connections that you form in those interviews or at those events. I also see a question in chat. How would you go about wording an email on feedback? So word it wisely. You can ask for feedback, be honest, right? And say that you're trying to grow and ask what feedback they have for you. You should not be apologetic. You are not sorry that you applied, right? This is about your growth, but also don't aim to be demanding, right? In the sense that I would not email someone impolitely and say, hey, so in informal language, hey, so why did you reject me? This wasn't fair. Why did you reject me? I have actually seen emails like that. That is how people get blacklisted. Be polite and be honest. Say, good afternoon. Thank you so much for considering my application. While I would have loved to have worked with you, I do appreciate the time you took to talk me through the role, and I would be interested if another role comes up. In the meantime, do you have any feedback on ways to improve my application for the future? And I would love to stay in touch. Here's my LinkedIn, right? I have actually gotten offers from doing that and seen other individuals get offers from doing that. So just be honest, be kind. It usually isn't something against you when someone does not choose your application. I see somebody saying that they have a different situation where they have years of experience and they're finally obtaining their degree to make them feel more marketable. We're going to talk through some of that too. And like I said, we started a little late, so I'm going to focus on the core parts of these slides to really make sure that we hit on the things that are important to you. Because again, this presentation is about you. So one thing that you might want to know is that employers often have something called an equivalency, which basically means that they say, okay, experience can be worth education and education can be worth experience. So a certain number of credits can be worth a certain number of years of experience. So even if you haven't finished school yet, if you have a certain number of credits, it's worth putting that on your resume. So then an employer can look at it and say, oh, well, maybe they're not expected to graduate yet or for a little while, but they've completed 30 credits. And that's the equivalent of 2 years of experience for us. Or they have 2 years of experience, which is the equivalent of 30 credits for us. So there are different ways to express those things. Part of expressing those really well is making sure your resume is very clear, clean, and easy to read. And that's what your career services office is really, really going to help you with. Also, looking at templates. And I'm not talking about Microsoft Word templates. I feel, I love Microsoft Word. But when I look at their resume templates, I'm looking at the same thing I looked at in like Word 2007. They're not good. They're bad. I rarely, if ever, see employers put offers on resumes that came from a Microsoft Word template. You have to be a really exceptional candidate, or it has to be a really interesting circumstance or particular job. Look at the templates that your career services department provides to you. You can even, you go online and those resources are available to you. A lot of times you don't even have to log in to see college career services resources. They're just there for you. We want you to succeed. We want to see you flourish. And remember what we said earlier, you're not looking at the resources for the job you had, right? You're looking at the resources for the job you want. So if you were in retail, but you did find that that wasn't your passion, and your passion is in a different field, you want to look at the resumes for that field, or look at the LinkedIns for the people who made the transition that you want to make. Those are the people who can be your mentors, and those are the people who can give you some ideas of who hires from where you are now and into that field. How you can shape your resume, change your bullet points, shift things to express those key highlights, like that wonderful one Diana brought up earlier, in order to highlight your passions that emerged as incidental knowledge and incidental skills in different positions. So these are some of the things that you really want to do, and that you should think about doing. Please take this and start to make a list, right? For yourself. This is for you. I'm recommending this for you, of 2 of these things, right? That in the next week you're going to do, or in the next month you're going to do. Put a timeline on it. That's, most of you probably know at this point, SMART goals. Do all of you know SMART goals at this point? Yes, I see Kay knows them. Okay, excellent. Yes, okay, Charmaine knows them, Yolanda knows them, Diana knows them. Okay, Sasha doesn't know them, so Sasha, I will bring up what the acronym is later. Crystal, Nimra, I will bring that up in just a minute. All right, so SMART goals are goals where you put a specific timeline on it, right? And I'll give you the acronym in just a second. I want to make sure it's up on the screen. And Nazreen's actually going to put it in chat as well. We want SMART goals to emerge from this. So we're not just having a conversation about your career goals, because you can have that. And we're not just having a conversation about your passions, even though I love hearing about your passions. I want you to see what you can do next with those. So we talked a little bit about LinkedIn. I have on the screen some of the benefits, which include creating an online professional presence, connecting globally, and finding opportunities, because a lot of employers hire through LinkedIn. We've also talked about connecting with each other, with alumni, and then something that I pointed out earlier, connect with people who are where you want to be, or who started where you are and ended up where you want to be. Those people have something in common with you. There's a good chance that they share your passions and that they would be willing to share their story. So you can engage with them, you can engage with their postings, and you can learn from them. So can everyone post a hobby or activity that you're passionate about in chat? I'm also going to share this. I believe Nazreen has the registration list, so we can also share this list. Oh, candle making and cooking. Oh, that's fun. Food is a hobby. Food is a passion. I stress cook. Swimming, dance, traveling. Ooh, teaching and training. Ah, I love that one too. A lot of these are really great. I see food again. Yes, sleep. Sleep is a genuinely healthy hobby. Thank you. Swimming and reading. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So now I want you to go in chat, and underneath one of your peers' comments, I want you to write down something that you think is an incidental skill that they are acquiring in their hobby. Now that we've talked a little bit about incidental skills, right? What is something that could be applied in a career that they've acquired through their hobby? I'm also going to share a link in chat in just a second, and I'll explain it once I have that in chat. So go ahead and comment on each other's posts. Oh, excellent. I already see some. Yes, excellent. Oh, wow, Elise, incredible. Yes, yes, these are very, very good. These are very good. So if you were traveling, say you have a gap on your resume because you were traveling, you can put that in your LinkedIn, you can put that on your resume, you can put that in your cover letter, and you can express how that then qualifies you over other candidates because you have these skills that are relevant to something you're passionate about. You can also find jobs that are related to these passions, and find occupations or careers related to these passions. I'm going to share a link for that in just a second. Oh, that's a very good comment. Thank you, Nimra. These are excellent points. Absolutely wonderful. By the way, I hope everyone knows, yes, good point, Crystal. I hope everyone knows how to save chat. I'm reading through the messages in chat. Crystal said flexibility for dance. Nimra said improved, or for swimming, sorry. And Nimra said improved memory and focus for dance. There are just a lot of really good comments in here. What I am going to do as well is I'm going to post this thing called Own It Online in chat. Now we're not going to go over this entirely, and you can save chat if you are on desktop. And this, by the way, is an incidental skill that you are going to acquire today. You can save chat if you are on desktop, if you see the ... so the ellipsis. It should look like what I will post in chat as a comment in just a second. If you see that in the bottom corner of your chat, or in the top corner if you've run an update on Zoom recently, that is the symbol for the menu, and you can use that to save chat. Now, if you have challenges saving chat and you still want to keep that chat, don't worry, just message us in chat and we will save it. And that's something that we will have. And I can always reach out to you. Like I said, I will be sharing my email in chat before the end of this, so you will have that. Now, I'm seeing in chat that people are really helping each other start to think about the ways that their passions can connect to career relevant skills. The next thing that you want to think about is, for those of you who maybe aren't quite finding that your calling and your career have aligned yet, is looking at how your calling and career can align. So I did post a link in, chat, and it was for Own It Online. Now that is a resource you can use to look up careers, and it will provide things like wages by zip code, expected wages by zip code for particular careers, what is required to prepare for a career, and if you expand the task tool, you can select particular tasks and use those to start to figure out, oh, I didn't enjoy this task, but I did enjoy these tasks. Okay, what occupations are related to these tasks that I enjoy? So that can help you start to align your career with your calling. I noticed that we had some questions that indicated that some of you might benefit from that. You'll also see the steps to optimize your LinkedIn profile on here. Now, I did mention personal branding. So there is a mention of profile picture and headline on here. These, as well as your summary, are used to capture your audience, right? So you're gonna see that I have an example here. Now, talk to your career services. If you're having issues with this, if you're having challenges, remember that your LinkedIn is a start to your presence online. It's a way to network, just like being in the city and going to your events is a way to network. Now, does anyone have questions on what we've gone over so far? I know I've gone over a lot. Can't find Save Chat? Okay, Crystal, that's all right. You can go ahead and message me and I will follow up with you. I see, will you share the slides? Yes, I will. And since we started actually pretty late due to technical issues, there are a couple more slides that we will go over. And there are a couple more resources in there that you'll get to see. Now I am going to navigate. Okay, I did get a request to go back one slide. So I'm going to show this to you for a second, and then I am going to navigate towards the end just so that I can show you some resources that are coming up because I do want to respect your time. Now, if it's all right with, if it's all right with all of you, I will stay here for a little bit afterwards to answer questions, maybe take you through some more of the content. But I also do want to respect your time. So I am going to take you to some of the resources. Yolanda, I hope that you got that. I will make sure that you get a copy of those slides if you'd like one. I did share my email in chat, and you're welcome to connect with me in LinkedIn. So I am going to navigate. To the end of the slideshow, just so that you can see career services at CUNY SPS. You'll see over here Shannon Gallo, Kelsey Richardson, Nikita Cassidy. Amazing. That's your career services team at SPS, and you've got a list of services offered. Like I said, I love career services. They can help you with those things like the templates. I also have templates, but they're going to take your resume and they're going to help you tailor that. The real step is now taking what we started to do in chat and moving that into your resume and into your LinkedIn. These are open to all students and alums, by the way. You'll see the contact information over here for career services. And then some information about the Student Association Professional Development Grant, which I am personally a huge fan of. You can use this grant for conference-related expenses. You know how I said that I encourage you to move forward with professional development. Employers like it, you like it. You can use it in these things that you're passionate about, these passion projects, right? If you find a conference related to one of your passion projects or something that you feel passionate about, there are resources that can help fund you. So again, the slides will be shared. So if you don't get a picture of this right now, it's okay. But we will be making sure that you're able to access this and that you're able to get that support. And if you want to talk about these sort of things, I'm always happy to talk about these because I want to see you get the chance to do the things that you love. Now, you can see that there are some raffle prizes as well. Did want to make sure I mentioned those, and I'm sorry, I know it's 8:02. So there is a survey that I'm going to give you in just a second. And there are prizes for those who complete it. So please feel welcome to complete the survey. I always encourage people to take advantage of anything, any free resources that are out there. And let me make sure, there we go. Make sure that the survey is there. I believe that it will get shared in chat as well. Awesome. And ONET Online was shared in chat as well. Anyone who is interested in seeing more, learning more, talking about more. I'm here for a few minutes. I think we can still do that. I can answer some questions while people do the survey. Is that okay? I hope so, because I enjoy being here for you, but if you do need to go, that is all right. I am sharing my email here, and I will share the full slide deck with you. And thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your passions. Thank you for taking the time. I know we did our best, and all you can do is your best. Your best is all you can do, and I appreciate you all coming and doing your best today. I'm really glad that I met you, and I look forward to connecting with you. Okay. Oh, and thank you to those of you who commented. I see Nimra has a question, it looks like.
Nimra, are you unmuted? Because there you
Yeah.
go.
Can you hear me?
Now I can, yes.
Yes.
It's good to
Okay,
hear
so
you.
my question was just related. I mean, this presentation was more of how to relate your career to your passion, but
Mhm.
coming from a position where I'm still figuring out what my passion really is, what advice would you have for that?
Okay, awesome question. Thank you. So you're still figuring out your passion, and that's okay. Are there things that you enjoy doing?
Yeah, I do enjoy, as I said, swimming and reading are one of my hobbies, but
Okay.
I feel like I have more of an entrepreneurial mind. I see things and I lean towards them if I
Mhm.
see potential in like their growth in terms of business, you know, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards, but I haven't been able to find a specific niche, I guess, that
Okay.
I could dedicate time to.
That is brilliant. Okay, couple of things following up on that. Just to make sure that you receive resources and you receive information. One, there are professional associations. I don't know if you're familiar with them. There are things like Thai New York, which offers student memberships and offers things like pitch competitions where you can earn a whole lot of money.
Oh,
There are professional memberships like that, which may be beneficial to your career, right? They look good on your resume, and there are a lot of resources there. There are also events, right, that can tie the two together. So you like reading, but you also like entrepreneurship. Do you like books?
yes,
Okay. So this weekend was the International Antiquarian Book Fair in New York.
right.
There's a lot of interesting books. There's a lot of interesting money involved in that. There's a lot of opportunities for businesses there and innovation because the book world is changing. So you could start to think about how you would research, right? Read up on
Yeah.
the book world, what sort of opportunities are there, and maybe look into entrepreneurship on the cusp of readership.
Okay, and could you please,
There are a lot of opportunities there.
yeah,
Sorry.
sorry. I was just gonna say if you could please repeat the program that you told me about. Was it near
Oh,
you?
I just mentioned one, Thai New York, TIE
Oh, okay.
New York. That's one of many resources, but they do run a pitch competition, so that's why I brought it up.
Okay.
They do run a pitch competition with a rather significant award.
Oh, okay. Thanks for that.
Thank you. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did to some extent. I'm just, I mean, I feel like my hobbies don't relate that, like I do enjoy reading, but I don't necessarily see it as improving my career. So I'm just at a confusing point where I'm trying to figure out what I'm passionate about career-wise, because I don't see any relation between my hobbies and my career at this point.
Okay. Okay. So we might want to do a chart for you and basically line that up. I also do want to play with ONET a little bit for you. Does everyone, I know I've got the form up here, but does anyone mind if I screen share ONET?
No.
Would that be all right? I just want to make sure that you have that resource since it seemed relevant to a lot of the questions that I got. Okay. I don't see any no's, so hopefully that's okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and screen share ONET in just a second. While I do that, while I'm pulling that up for Nimra, Diana, you had a question? Feel free to unmute.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was having trouble with the unmute. Um, I have interests, and one of the things that I'm concerned about is I'm a little older than I guess the young people who are applying for jobs. I do have experience, and but what I want to do is more remote, because um I need to work remotely at this stage in my life. And but I don't know anything about except for I'm taking the classes online, but I know I need to be more savvy. How would you go about becoming more savvy with technology?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that is an excellent question. Thank you. And that ties into our conversation on professional development and how professional development connects your career and your calling, right? And brings them together. Now, that also connects your needs, right? So in this case, CUNY SPS is going to have resources. A lot of different places are going to have resources on that. Now, you may also want to look at the continuing education resources because there are a lot of free continuing education resources. Have you heard of Grow with Google?
No.
Okay. Grow with Google, free resource, right? That is open to many students and is an opportunity for you to develop your technical skills. It
Okay.
goes through all the core technical skills and it directs them around career readiness. So when it teaches you technical skills regarding their Google Docs and does them in a way that's transferable to Word, it uses a resume as a sample in order to make sure that you also learn incidentally about resumes.
Mm.
And it talks about all sorts of different digital tools and resources. That's one of many different resources, but that category would be continuing education in professional development.
Okay. Thank you.
Does that help, Diana?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. I should be screen sharing now. Can everyone see my screen? Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so this was ONET, which I mentioned. You are welcome to look up something that you're interested in. You can do things like pull up your wages by zip code, pull up the tasks related to a role, or you can use, and this is Nimra is what I wanted to show you, the ONET Interest Profiler, and it will match you to potential careers based on different things that you're interested in, different passions that you have, and different things that you enjoy. This is also a great way to start to identify skills to add to your LinkedIn profile that connect to those things that you enjoy doing. So there's a lot to ONET. We could do an entire different session on it, but I do need to let you all go soon since I know that everyone has a lot going on. What I am going to do is I'm going to share my email again in chat. Also, as a reminder, I think Nazreen, are you able to share are you able to share the information for the career services in chat?
I believe I responded back to the student, but I can just drop it in the general chat
Okay,
for career services. But everyone definitely connect with Laura for all of your additional questions. She gave us a great presentation, a lot of great resources. Again, fill out the survey link. You do have a chance to win a raffle. There are 3 giveaways you can choose from. Let's see. Are you accessible by phone, Laura?
I do have an office phone. If you are able to message me by LinkedIn or by email, I can send you that. They just updated the office phones, so I want to make sure that you receive the right number that can take external calls.
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you so much, Laura. Apologies again for earlier on in the session. Thank you for hanging out after time, and thank you everyone else for staying a little later. Again, connect with Laura, ask her all your questions. She's here to help all of you and me. Again, thank you for joining. We have another session coming up. It's called Mastering Networking, Unveiling the 5 W's, 1H for Career Advancement, tomorrow, April 9th, with Catherine Law. So if you're free, hop onto the call. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you. I really appreciate you. I was really glad to see everyone, and I look forward to seeing everyone continue
right.
to grow their careers.
Yes. Let's move on up. Okay. All right. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Charmaine. Thank you, Sasha. Good night, Kimberly. Thank you, Elizabeth and Nimra. I was really glad that you were here. Oh, and Diana, I look forward to connecting with you. There are a lot of continuing ed resources for you, and I think it'll be good. Also,
Do
this
you still, sorry, do you still need the room open to take anyone's questions, or should I end the meeting?
I think I'm getting an email from Nimra now, which I'm looking forward to reading. Diana, I will keep an eye out for any emails or LinkedIn messages from you. I really am looking forward to making sure you connect with those resources. Do you have any final questions? Is there anything else that you would like to check in about before we close the meeting? Keeping an eye on chats. Ah, okay. Diana can't unmute. Okay, Diana, why don't you connect with me after this, and I will speak with you when there are less technical difficulties with you unmuting. I appreciate you. I'm really glad that you're here. Thank you. And I will save chat. Okay. Thank you. All right. Have a wonderful night, all of you. Yes, have a good night, Diana. And I will hopefully speak with you soon. Thank you.